It's been a couple of years now that I've been going through a really weird and hard time trying to figure out what is it that I want from my life, and is it gonna make me happier or sadder? It's a really hard job and I have so many things that I still have to fix in my life, but there is something that I managed to fix many years ago that in my opinion is one of the main reasons for unhappiness. If you clicked on this video, you know what I'm talking about. It's consumerism, the constant need to buy things. And I fixed it with frugality. Now, my house is not a minimalist house, I know, but I have to admit that my wife buys most of the stuff, and you can't force frugality on people, right? But anyway, in this video I want to explain why I consider myself frugal and what are the 13 reasons why I decided to live like that. And I hope that these reasons are going to convince you that being frugal doesn't mean being cheap, it's going to make you live a much happier life, and it's actually pretty cool. So when I say that I'm extremely frugal, it doesn't mean that I don't buy anything. It means that I tend to buy things when they need them, like food, or when they can improve the long-term quality of my life. I don't care at all about clothes, about the car that I have, about the phone that I use, and probably if I lived alone, I would even have a minimalist house. But here's the thing, frugality is always seen in a negative way. If you're frugal, they say you're cheap and you deprive yourself of the pleasures of life because you only think about money. Well, I want to tell the world that this can't be further away from the truth, and being frugal has actually little to do with money and much more to do with freedom and clever choices. So after this long introduction, here are my 13 reasons why I'm extremely frugal. And if I haven't convinced you to become frugal by the end of this video, well, I gotta work on my communication skills. Number one is consumerism is a drug, literally. I've always wondered why pretty much everybody at some level knows that buying material things doesn't make you happy, but still, most people love buying stuff. And the reason is that buying stuff does make you happy for a while. When you buy something, your brain releases a substance called dopamine, and this gives you a sense of pleasure. But this is exactly what happens with every drug. It makes your dopamine level spike, and you get addicted to that feeling because it gives you pleasure and you want more and more of it. And like any other drug, the pleasure that you're going to feel by buying is going to be less and less. And you're going to need to buy more and more in order to feel the same pleasure. Think about Paris Hilton. Do you really think that she's able to get any pleasure by buying a new purse? So when I think about compulsive shoppers, I know that these people get addicted to buying. They think they're buying all this stuff really, but actually they're not. So since I don't want to be addicted to any kind of drug, be it nicotine from cigarettes or alcohol or any other drug, I also don't want to be addicted to this. So if you tell me that you like buying things, I totally get you. You do like it and it does make you feel happy. But think about the last thing that you bought and ask yourself, how long did it take before I felt the need to buy something else? Reason number two is I want to be in control. If you like buying stuff that you don't really need, you most likely have little or no savings, and sometimes you might even get into debt. And this leaves you with less options in life. Most people consider a paycheck as the amount of money that you're allowed to spend before the next one comes. They have this idea that life consists of working, getting money, spending money, and working again to get more. And since people spend money like this, their perception is really the only option they have. They are forced to keep working because if they stop, they cannot afford to buy anymore the things that they like. So without noticing, they're cutting off all their options in life. For example, most people are not happy with their job or have to give up important things because they don't have any savings. Some people dream about starting a company, some people even have great ideas, but they cannot do it because they don't have any capital. So living frugally means you're going to be able to have savings, and you can't imagine how many doors open when you stop being dependent on your salary. Number three is I don't want to work until retirement. And I know that if I spend most of my money every month, I'm gonna be forced to work until retirement because I'm always gonna need either a salary or a pension. If you live frugally, you're gonna be able to leave your job much faster than you think and finally enjoy life without having to work for it. People don't realize how easy it can be to reach financial freedom and leave your 9-to-5 job without having to be a genius or risking so much in life. There are many ways and millions of opportunities in the world to generate wealth. And even if you don't want to start a business, just by living frugally, saving money and investing money, you're going to be able to reach levels you can hardly imagine. Alright, number four is I want to be able to risk more. This is one of my favorites and nobody ever thinks about that. What happens is that the more you spend on material things, the more you're going to have to worry about losing. On the other hand, if you live frugally, you have less to lose, and therefore your risk tolerance goes up. So if you're used to spend a good portion of your salary and have less savings, you're never gonna risk starting a business or leaving your job or starting a new type of career, because whatever important change you make is gonna threaten the lifestyle that you created with your habits. But get used to living frugally and to not being dependent on material things, and you're gonna be able to risk much more because you have much less to lose. Number 5 is I hate bad debt. I call it bad debt because there is also good debt, like the one that real estate investors use to purchase properties. But this is not the kind of debt that many people have. Most people have credit card debt, auto loans, installments on pretty much everything, and this debt causes you a lot of stress, and it forces you to work hard in order to be able to pay it off. Getting into debt is the worst thing that you can ever do for your health and for your stress level. And being debt-free as I am is the most wonderful feeling because you're never gonna have the pressure like, what's gonna happen if I lose my job? How am I gonna be able to pay off my debts? And since my channel is about personal finance and investing, most of my videos revolve around that, and in particular the one that I'm linking here. Okay, reason number 6, I don't want to think about money. And here I want to finally break down the cliche that frugal people are always thinking about money and people that spend it are free of it. In fact, I do believe that it's completely the other way around. Except if you like donating money. That's a completely different thing. Think about it. I don't buy many things not because I'm constantly thinking about the money that I have to spend to get it, but because I realized how little they're gonna give me by buying them. And whenever I do want to buy something or I need to buy something, I just do it without thinking about the money because I have money saved. So what about people that always spend money? They think they don't care about money because they always spend it, but their lifestyle depends on it. And they're constantly in the situation of having to make decisions based on if they have the money or not. So in the end, by not desiring to buy unnecessary things, you're gonna find yourself thinking much less about money and you're gonna be happier. Reason number 7 is I value freedom over possessions. Now, since my channel is about personal finance and investing, you might think that I'm all about money, about spending, about things, but the reality is I couldn't care less about possessions. If you gave me $10 million now, I wouldn't buy myself a new car, I wouldn't buy myself new clothes, a new phone, I wouldn't go to a restaurant more or to 5-star hotels, because the only thing that I really value is freedom. Freedom to chase my dreams, freedom to spend time with my family, freedom to live wherever I want, and freedom to use my time as I wish. But you're never gonna be able to have freedom if you're a slave of consumerism. You're always gonna have to earn money doing a job that most likely you won't like, and you will spend your free time buying and using material things that most likely will never make you happy. Number 8 is I value time above anything. Now, I wanna be honest. As I often say on my channel, I still have a regular job, so already a big chunk of my time is taken by something that is not really my biggest passion. So I would be irresponsible and disrespectful of myself if I use the little time that I have left buying and using and playing with things that don't really help me. I'd rather use my free time doing something that can actually improve my quality of life, like spending quality time with my wife, with my family, educating myself, and creating YouTube videos. Although, given the results that my channel had so far, you might think that it's been a waste of time, but I still have hope. Number 9 is I don't want to lose appreciation for things. I mean, I'm frugal, but I don't live in a cavern. I still get presents from time to time and I still buy myself something, although that doesn't happen very often. But when it does, I can fully appreciate it. I remember when I was a kid, if my father bought me a toy, I would be like the happiest kid in the world and I would play with it for months, every day. But now kids receive like 15, 20 gifts every Christmas, and what do? They barely touch them. They have so much they can't really appreciate it. At the beginning of the video, I told you about Paris Hilton. Would you ever make her happy by buying her a $5,000 purse? I don't think so. But the same is also valid for grown-ups. The more you buy, the less you're gonna appreciate it. And I don't want to have this feeling. Number 10 is I'm not so talented. I want to reach financial independence because I want to have the freedom to use my time by doing something that matters to me. But unfortunately, I'm not that kind of talented guy with $1 million idea. In fact, I'm not even the kind of guy that's managing to have great success on YouTube. So I know that my best chance to reach financial independence is by being frugal and avoiding wasting money on material things. Number 11 is I like simple things. It's true that I'm an engineer and engineers like complicated things. But the truth is, simple is beautiful. Imagine that you were rich enough that you could buy a huge mansion with 15 rooms, a cinema, a bowling alley, a closet room with millions of clothes, and 15 different coffee machines to make all the different types of coffees there is. At the beginning, you'd think that having all these choices would enrich your life, but you'd soon realize that you naturally tend to use the same things and the same places. We humans tend to feel comfortable when we live within our routines, so making your life simpler is gonna make it more comfortable, hence happier. Moreover, you probably know that the more variables you put into an equation, the more complicated it becomes. And life is a beautiful, nice equation that you want to keep as simple as possible. Number 12 is I want to be ready for the unexpected. And the unexpected, seriously, should always be expected. I don't know why it's hard for people to believe that at some point they're going to have to face incredible expenses and they have to have saved the money for it, because in reality, it always happens to everybody. So I don't want to find myself in a situation that I have to risk my health or renounce something extremely important for me, or not be able to pay rent because I lost my job just because I didn't save the money for it. Now, the last reason can be seen as a summary of all the other 12 that I mentioned, and that is I care about my future self. Every choice we make in life affects our future self. And if there is something that I've learned, is that whatever gives you instant pleasure will cause you pain in the future. And whatever gives you pain and suffering in the short term will make you happier in the long term. So you have the choice. You can pursue instant gratification by spending your money on material things that will make you euphoric for a second, or you can live a simpler, more frugal life and find yourself free of financial worries in the years to come. And I know that some of you will think, come on, buying things is not gonna ruin my life, I can handle that. Well, I don't know if you know the so-called butterfly effect, but it basically says that whatever small event has repercussions in the future that are much more considerable than you can imagine. Being tied to material possessions, buying everything you desire, getting everything you want, is much more than just the simple fact of wasting money on something unimportant. I'm really glad I'm a frugal person, and I wish that many more people saw it like me, because I've seen and known so many people that were used to spending so much money on material things, and it never made them happier and caused them many financial troubles. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you get to this point, I want to thank you for dedicating your time to me and to my message. I wish you a great day or evening, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!